see my head. I'm sitting too high. That works. So, aside from just fixing all of the engine related and drivetrain related problems that this car has from it being a 20-year-old Subaru, and with a questionable past modification history, there's more that we need to do to it aside from just the engine stuff. So, as you guys just saw, I pulled off one of the old Raceland coilovers. I've never been a huge fan of Raceland coilovers. They ride terribly in my opinion for a daily driver. So we are going to be pulling all of these Racelands off the car today. We have to reboot some axles. We need to figure out what the hell is going on. The amount of sketch in the car increases with the more digging I do. As you guys saw on one of the wheels has been damaged. It's been welded and repaired. As long as that weld and that repair holds up on that wheel, we really shouldn't have any problems. I'm surprised at the tire. I never looked at the tire size on these work T7Rs up until now. Turns out they're 255s and they are stretched. So I think it would be a smart idea to bump up tire size a little bit. Maybe go to like a 265 or a 275. These are Ironman tires. They're not the greatest. Driving the car, if it's wet outside like it is now and I were to get on it in like second gear, do a hard second gear pull, the car would spin tire, which it shouldn't be doing, especially on 255. We need to figure out why something in the rear is squeaking. I have a feeling that the rear diff might be destroyed. It's a possibility. The ABS module in this car is fried. There's a lot. So we're gonna start today off with some suspension related stuff. So these are just a set of BC BR coilovers. A lot of people ask me coilover recommendations for what they should do. I think BCs are an awesome choice if anybody's looking to get some for a street car. No, I'm not affiliated with BC Racing at all. It's just the price point of these coilovers for a street car. It's totally awesome. You don't need things like Fortunato, Cygnus Performance, any of that crazy stuff if you're just driving around on the street and you're using it as a daily driver. It's exceptionally overkill. You can get a set of BCs for like $1,100. Faction Fab is really another good set. So now that we've got this front right side done, let's go ahead and knock out the front left side and continue to remove these Racelands out of this car. Dude, this thing's just covered in axle boot grease. Before I start on the rear suspension, I want to give these a quick rinse down to let them start cleaning because I want to repolish these, but why is this so, is there not a spray option? It's only squirt. So gaining access to be able to get the rear coilovers out on these is a little bit different than it would be on like a GR or a VA. Normally with those, you'd go into the trunk and you'd be able to access the top hats for the rear coilovers. For these older GD chassis, you have to take out the back seat, the bottom portion of the back seat and the top portion of the back seat, remove those, and then the coilover is actually right up here. As you can see, that one rear extender knob poking out from the Raceland that we have in here. So to be able to get these out, there should just be a couple of these little 12 mils going across the bottom of the seat here, and then this whole bottom portion will pull out. For this top portion, there should be 3 12 mils that hold it down also. Don't mind my dog's blanket back here. I kind of threw that out of the way. So let's go ahead and get the back seat out on this thing, so that way we can get our rear coilovers out and get our new BCs in. Oh yeah, they 12. Just like that. Probably gonna clean under that seat. It's kind of gross. You should just be able to grab this one. These can be a little bit of a pain to access, but you should be able to reach them. What the hell is that? Ew. This guy should slide right out. This sucks to do by yourself, but it is very doable. I'm holding this backwards. This is rear right? There's this rear left. Now I can get these upper ones tossed in real quick. So we've got our new BC BR coilovers installed. They really weren't too bad, you guys. 2 bolts pretty much for each one. We'll adjust height and do all that stuff at a later point. I'm pretty sure what I heard squeaking all the time may have actually been the rear sway bar. The bushings are pretty shot on that. Is that what we were rubbing on right there? I heard a consistent rubbing in here. That may have been it from this sway bar. Potentially, I don't know, there's a weird rubbing sound coming from back here, which we're gonna have to investigate here in a little bit. But I figured while we have the back seat out, it's probably an opportune time to swap out our fuel pump. So I don't know what's in there now. I know it is hardwired. So we have one Walbro 450 here. I had a spare iWire stud bypass kit that they had sent me. So we're gonna be using that also in accordance with this guy. So this will just actually exactly what it sounds like. It's a stud bypass kit, so it doesn't use the factory connector anymore. So sweet. Get that fuel pump pulled out. It's really easy. All you need is a flathead, and I believe it's 8 mil. We'll come back for that. So the fuel pump on GDs is right here. 4 Phillips head screws. They had ripped out this piece right here. This black like curtain piece used to run all the way to the end of this. Doesn't anymore. So let's get our fuel pump out of here. What we have, I want to say there's a 340 in there right now, but figured while we're here and I have that extra 450, let's put a 450 in this thing. This might actually already have a stud on it if it's going to this relay. Pop off the tab here. What the hell is going on here? It looks a little funny though. Let's pop out our electrical connector here. What is happening with all this tape right here? That is my main question. Now, I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll come back to the tape in a sec. There we go, baby. So this thing had a DW300C in it. Not a bad fuel pump, but not big enough for me. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this guy off of here. I forgot that these DW fuel, or these Walbro fuel pumps do not come with a fuel sock. Or I did order one, it'll be here tomorrow, so it's not a big deal. We can wait to put it in until tomorrow, but I do want to get it set up with everything else. So let's get this DW300C off of here. Hold on with a little bit of fuel hose, daddy-o. Undo that. That sucks. I just had, actually I might still have it. I had a fuel line for a Walbro fuel pump like this, and I think I threw it away. I always throw away the random things that I always need. Don't know why, but for some reason, I always do. Alright, there's that guy. Ew. The filter itself is like falling apart. DW300C, out of here. Yeah, the fuel sock's like falling apart on that thing. Not okay. Let me see if I have any fuel lines sitting around. If I do, that would be ideal. How did I get anti-seize on my hands? How do I always get anti-seize on me? I touch it once and it's everywhere. I just double checked the Amazon order that I placed for the fuel sock on this. It actually comes with a whole install kit, so I'm just gonna wait until tomorrow to install this thing. We'll get the stud bypass kit and all that stuff in here. Essentially, all we're gonna do is drill some holes. I believe it's got a couple grommets. We'd actually probably just do the stud bypass kit now. Yeah, fuck it, let's just do it now. It can't be that hard, right? So I've got the stud kit done on this. So if you guys look right there on the top of the hanger, you'll see the 2 studs that I just put in. This one is ground, this one's power. This thing's still leaking out fuel. I didn't even know this thing had that much fuel in it. On the bottom side, bloop, we have our fuel pump electrical connection hooked up right there. And then right up here on the top, we have our isolators, and we have the power and ground hooked up to the fuel pump. So now when we go to reinstall this in the car tomorrow, because I'm just going to wait for that install kit for this fuel pump, so that way we can do everything the right way. We'll get this guy put in there, we'll get the fuel sock put on there, some actual fuel safe hose for this fuel pump connection that goes from the pump up to the hanger, and get that installed. So I'm just going to kind of leave this guy over here with probably a towel put over it, so that way, you know, the fuel vapors don't demolish me. I lost my roll of paper towels. I'm glad I had that extra hardwire kit sitting around. The whole reason that you would do a hardwire kit like this, these bigger pumps like this require more power, and this gives it more consistent power. It runs wires to actually feed the pump with the correct current that it needs. That's done. We'll let this guy chill here. I want to clean out the back seat because it's pretty freaking nasty. So I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see it, but there's just like dirt everywhere in here. Like, that is gross. So I'm gonna just clean this out with glass cleaner. Well, I'm gonna vacuum it, then clean it out with glass cleaner. I'm gonna cut all of these out just to get all these random speaker wires out. I'm not a sub type of dude. I don't put subs in my cars. So clean this nasty back seat. Look at how freaking clean this is, man. Absolutely beautiful. It's still scuffed up in some areas, but you know what? There's not like dirt, mud. Dude, when I sprayed glass cleaner down to clean all of this, it all just turned to mud. It was like caked on there so thick. So way better. Just take the time. If you're going through and you're doing stuff like taking out your back seats, getting fuel pumps and stuff like that, just take the time to clean it out, because that was nasty. So sweet. So I'm just gonna get the inevitable out of the way, you guys. I'm just gonna pull these axles out. I already broke all the axle nuts free, so that way tomorrow morning we can just reboot them. So to get the axles out, I'm just gonna pop off the lower nut that holds the steering guy to the control arm, and then I'll probably just undo the tie rod if it cooperates to be able to swing this guy up and out of the way. It's annoying getting axles out, but it's not super terrible, so start pulling axles out of this thing. Both front axles done. Got the new one rebooted in here. I also cleaned up all the old spilt grease that was everywhere. This car needs new brake rotors also. There's a nice lip on the edge of these. Same with the rears. The rears are just like grooved out and totaled at this point. It looks like they've been resurfaced, and they're literally at the end of their lives. Anyways, I did get my fuel pump installation kit in here. So I have a little piece of hose. I have the fuel safe wire guys right there. I've got it plugged in. And then I've also just got a worm gear clamp holding the fuel pump down to the hanger. I did modify the hanger and cut off the bottom portion of it. Then we also have the fuel sock on here. So let's go ahead and get this guy back in the car. We do need to remember that the blue wire is ground and the other one is power. So ground, power, ground, power. Sweet. Let's get our fuel pump back installed so that way we stop smelling fuel. We have our fuel pump reinstalled in here now. I'm not gonna go ahead and rewire it yet. We are gonna redo this hardwire. I don't like the way that they did this. I don't like using electrical tape on connections like this. It's just not, it's not the best way of doing it. So to power this fuel pump, we will put a relay onto the power side. The ground will just go to like a chassis ground or something along those lines. I kind of want to do a battery relocation on this and put the battery in the trunk. I did that in blue, and I actually really like having all the extra space from where the battery would be up here and just relocating it to the back of the car. Matt, I do this every time, man, where I say that this is going to be a quick build, and then it turns into just a full out, I'm gonna fix every problem on this car. It's a bad habit. It's a good habit, but it's the right way of doing things, but it's a bad habit. So next up, I'm gonna jump over here into the engine bay. I'm gonna start removing a lot of things in here we're not gonna be using. I have decided we are not gonna use these TGV housings, these fuel rails, or these fuel injectors. We are swapping to some ID 1300s, and we are going to get some actual TGV housings because I didn't notice this at first, but I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of that. So I don't quite know what's happening right there. It's like silly putty in there, or like something. I don't know what that is. So the washer reservoir is also going to come out. I never use them. I want the free space. I like having my fuel pressure regulator over here, kind of away from the engine and whatnot. So start stripping some more stuff out of this engine bay to get it kind of where we want it. Well, I'm literally doing what I told myself I wasn't going to do with this car, and I'm stripping things down to a point where this is no longer a quick turnaround. I'm still debating if I should pull the engine out. I might pull the engine out. You guys know me. It's just, I like my things being refreshed. I like them new, and I like them looking Gucci. So over here, I got rid of that whole bracket area that literally just held the boost controller. It's literally all that whole bracket over there was for, so I got rid of that. I never use the windshield washer reservoir. I like having the free space over there, so I got rid of that also. I might relocate the battery to the trunk just to free up more space in here. I like to minimize all the crap where possible to eliminate as much of the stuff in the engine bay, make things easier to work on, make life just that much smoother. So it's getting there. The old housings with the TGVs, fuel injectors, all that stuff is off. I have an old set of they're not even old. I have a brand new set of Hold up. Yes, right here. I've got a set of, like, oh my God, and I dropped one. Mother of Jesus. I got a set of these parent fuel rails that are a little bit different than their normal style, where they still have a spot for an AN fitting for like a fuel pull stamper and all that fun stuff. So I think I'm just gonna rock these in here and rock these fun parent fuel rails. I've had them sitting around, so might as well put them to good use and use them on this build, right? So might as well pull those out of my spare parts bin. Right, these are like the exact same. They're like same. Interesting, except I don't think you need spacers for these. Maybe you do, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But this is where I'm ending this one because a lot of good progress. All the axles are fixed, new suspension's in the car, new fuel pump is in the car. We need to hardwire that in the next episode. I call these episodes like it's a TV show. In the next video, we're also going to, I have that spare dash in the back. We're gonna flock that. We're gonna put another flock dash in this car. I really love the look of the flock dashes in these cars. I might, if you guys want that as its own video, like, nah, I have videos on that. So we're gonna flock the dash, we're gonna swap some interior components, make it look better, clean up the engine bay some more, eliminate some more crap out of this thing that doesn't need to be in there, and continue building it. I'm really trying to refrain from pulling the damn engine out of this car because deep down I know I want to. And you know what, maybe if I just want to, maybe I should just pull the engine out and just refresh it. I don't know, we'll see. I'll think about it, I'll debate it. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you're liking the GD stuff, again, go ahead, hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan. But today's color of the day is aspen white for the blah bye. So we gotta do some aspen white love. So with that, if you're not, or actually no, if you're not subscribed already to the channel and you want to be, I'll put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.